What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 answers. Rates rising or falling, inflation being up or down. Can someone please invent a crystal ball? Until then, over 41,000 businesses have future-proofed their business with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all into one fluid platform. With one unified business management suite, there's one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time insights and forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. When you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you're spending less time looking backward and more time on what's next. And speaking of opportunity, you can now download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Kim. The guide is free for you at netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim. netsuite.com/Kim.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome into Talkback here on a Wednesday. I'm Al Quartermont, joined by Trish Lala.
Good morning.
I'm just laughing because, well...
Sometimes it's just hard to get everything in the right place some mornings,
Yeah.
And because you've got the live stream computer over here that we keep running. I'm going to have my laptop here where I can see it. So I try to move the mic a little bit so that I can see it, but
Yeah, it's kind of taking off on you, kind of flying on.
So it's okay. I'm going to sit here and hold on to it.
There you go.
It's all right.
Go. Hey, before we begin, I want to let people know who normally take the Curtis Coleman Bridge heading, I
Okay,
guess,
talk
north.
about which bridge that is for sure.
Okay, so which bridge? That's the one
I know
that goes over the Red River.
Al, there's 3 bridges that go over the Red River, okay? You have the Jackson Street Bridge.
It's not that one.
I know. So you have the Purple Heart Bridge.
It's not that
and
one.
you have the Coleman Bridge. But sometimes people don't remember which one is which.
Right.
So tell people, is it the one?
It's the one that replaced the old OK Adams Bridge.
You are just a ball of help this morning, Al. I tell you what.
165? Does that help?
The one by Bulow, people.
Yes, the one.
The one by Bulow.
The one that if you
the
go
one that will
over,
take you past
right.
Bulow.
So if you're heading, I guess it's north, technically. So you're coming from Alexandria going into Pineville. There was an accident this morning right there, kind of that intersection where the Why Not stop is. And looks like maybe a car was trying to cross traffic and got struck. Anyway, you've got police, you've got ambulances, you got fire trucks at the scene. And so if you're trying to go north that way, it is all backed up. It's backed up completely from the Why Not stop to over the bridge right where you're getting on at the bridge on the Alexandria side. So
yeah, so you might hop up on 49 right there, head on over to the Jackson Street Bridge, and you could get around it.
Yeah, I guess you could do it that way. So you might find an alternative, and I'm sure they're working as quickly as they can.
Al, I know all the alternative routes around these towns.
Well, it's just, you never know the way drivers are in the morning. I mean, there's some people that just drive crazy out there.
There are some people that drive crazy, but I told you when you walked in, I thought we were going to be dealing with a mess out there this morning.
Yes.
Much worse than what we have. I thought it was still going to be raining like crazy and blowing and all kinds of stuff. Like we made it in through the weather to be here for the radio for you, our listeners, but it's actually kind of nice out right now.
Yeah, the sun is trying to peek through. I think we could potentially have some more thunderstorms coming up later today, but boy, yesterday, it started, I guess, right around 5:15.
Right about the time we were thinking of lighting the grill.
Oh, boy.
Because you knew it was supposed to happen all day.
Yeah,
like all day I was waiting on it. Like, when is the rain actually going to get here? And then we decided, well, you know what? The rain's not here. Let's go ahead and fire up the grill.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, boom, there it was.
Yeah, and I mean, it lasted till what? Probably 2 in the morning, something like that. So it got pretty rocky out there. Hopefully everybody came out of it safely. Where I live, we just got a ton of rain.
Yeah.
So I saw like some spots had like 10 inches, I think.
Well, they were predicted to have, like especially South Lafayette area and all that. I even told our daughter down Baton Rouge, be careful in the parking lot with as much rain as you're expected to get down there. Yeah. Now, they are still supposed to get a lot more rain down that way, but...
Right. Yeah, St. Landry has a flood warning until 11 this morning. Also, flood warnings for Allen, Beauregard, Evangeline until 10 a.m. as well. So that seems to be where the heaviest rain definitely fell, was a little bit more south of us. But so far today, things look pretty good. So we're thankful for that for sure. I want to remind you, our phone number, 442-8255 on the BOM Bank talk line. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we will be having a guest on the show, and that will be Sean Morrow, who is the Director of Trauma Services at Rapids Regional Medical Center. They have their 11th annual Trauma Symposium coming up on Friday, so we'll tell you more about that. In the meantime, we can jump on the phone calls, and let's start the day doing that. Good morning. You are on Talkback.
Hey, I'm awake this morning.
Not
much sleep, but...
Well, hey, not much sleep.
My dogs kept me up.
Oh, so. With the weather? Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of, I used to think maybe we need sirens or some of that for tornadoes. But if you got some, like my dogs, they'll just warn you anyway.
Very true.
They got a little skittish, as they say, huh?
Yeah, I keep on barking, and finally I give in. So
dogs do.
They bark. Yeah. I got one little dog. She, both of them are Shih Tzus. One of them will.
Hey, we can't say that on the air.
Go ahead.
We can't say that word on the air. Just kidding. Go ahead.
My daughter says I'm cussing. She says, quit saying that.
I know who decided to name a type of dog.
What was the old
anyway,
joke? What if you cross a bulldog with a Shih Tzu? You gotta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
That was great. Yeah.
That was pause there, Al.
Yeah. What famous movie was that in?
That was Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
You're proud.
I knew I'd heard it somewhere. So.
Yeah, that's great.
Anyway.
Yeah, my wife refuses to watch that movie. She said it's dumb, and I get dumber by watching it. So.
There you go. There you go.
But hey, it was good. My wife's a teacher. I'm glad they passed that stipend.
Okay, yeah. So that I take it is the purpose of your call, not to give us an update on your sleep pattern, but rather.
No, that wasn't really the purpose, but it was. It made the lack of sleep a little bit better, knowing that we're gonna be getting some nice chunk of change coming in. So
right. So what he's talking about, folks, is yesterday at the school board meeting they announced that the excess sales tax revenues that are collected in Rapides Parish will become that 13th check that they call it for Rapides Parish school board teachers and employees. If you're a teacher and or a position that requires a degree, you get $7,820, and permanent contracted employees and positions not getting or requiring degrees get $3,910. So $7,800. What are teachers complaining about these days?
Yeah, well, don't say that around a teacher, but
I know college teachers don't get that.
College teachers don't get that?
No.
Well, yeah. Well, go ahead and talk to. I know you got a new president coming in, so maybe you can make your case to him.
Okay, I'll do that. I'm sure he'd appreciate that right off the bat.
There you go. Get a proposal.
And go work for Rapides Parish Schools then. So.
There you go. Yeah, I know he was talking about he sat down with somebody from CC's one day when he first came in. Mm-hmm. So they found out his favorite drink from CC's and made that sway him.
Oh, that's good.
Spend about $12 on a couple of coffee drinks and maybe get you a nice bonus.
There you go.
I don't know, but that is really good. I'm glad the teachers are getting it.
Happy for them.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Don't spend it all in one place.
There you go. Well, it's going on flooring. My wife wants flooring, so since she's the one working for it,
I assume you're not installing that.
No. It's I would mess it up. I'm not the best handyman. We'd spend more money having to rip it up and getting a new repair guy.
Well,
so
anyway, congratulations on the nice bonus. So enjoy.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good day. All right.
Yeah. 442-8255 here on Talkback. Now, that really is a nice thing for the teachers and the other workers in the Rapides Parish school system. I mean, what a tremendous thing. I'm sure it gets to a point where people count on it, but really you have to take that every year as, wow, isn't this amazing that we get this extra money?
Yeah. Because you can't count on it.
Right. Yep. Right. So very cool.
And I, for one, also am very happy he's not installing the flooring himself, as somebody that tries to sell houses many times with people that think they're Chip and Joanna Gaines, and they're really not. So kudos for you for having somebody else do it.
There you go. Let's see. I don't know if this is our guest, but another call is tried. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, this is Sean from Rapides Regional.
Hi, Sean. Glad to have you with us. Tell you what, we need to take a break before we come to you, so I'm just going to put you back on hold, okay?
Okay.
All right. Very good. Yeah, one of those things where I'm like, is it our guest? Is it another caller? Because we try to hit this break right at 7:30 so that we get the Bloomberg report. So, but yeah, Sean is going to be talking with us about this trauma symposium that is coming up on Friday. So that should be pretty good. But the rest of the show after that will be pretty much open line, and we'll have a lot of things that we can talk about. So, yeah, you never know.
You never know. And it depends on what the topics our callers bring up.
They kind of drive the show from time to time. All right, we'll take this break right now. And as we just heard, we'll be coming back with Sean Morrow right after this here on Talkback.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stock futures higher this morning following 2 down days on Wall Street. Investors are optimistic ahead of trade talks with China. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says his proposal to overhaul the nation's air traffic system will cost tens of billions of dollars. He's set to unveil that plan tomorrow. And there's a lot of urgency to upgrade the FAA's aging system after last week's radar outage in Newark, New Jersey. It left air traffic controllers blind and terrified for over a minute. Comcast has spun off most of its NBC Universal cable networks to a new company called Versant. It'll be the new parent company of CNBC, MSNBC, Sci-Fi, Oxygen, E, Golf Channel, and USA Network. NBC Universal is keeping Bravo. And for National Hurricane Preparedness Week, the Home Depot Foundation's pledged more than $5.5 million to help nonprofits prepare, respond, and recover from natural disasters. The Atlantic hurricane season starts June 1st, and forecasters predict at least 4 major hurricanes. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio. Looking for fun, learning, and excitement at your fingertips? The Rapides Parish Library has you covered. With our easy digital online calendar, signing up for events has never been simpler. Whether it's story time for the kiddos, workshops, painting classes, book clubs, or special guest speakers, you can browse and register right from your phone or computer. Just click, search, sign up, and show up. Head over to our website at rpl.org and get connected today.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BON Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BON Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
All right, we're back with you, Al and Trish, here on this Wednesday morning. Joining us on the phone, Sean Morrow. She's the Director of Trauma Services at Rapides Regional Medical Center. They have their 11th annual Trauma Symposium coming up on Friday at the Randolph Riverfront Center, and she joins us on the show now. Good morning. How are you today, Sean?
Good morning. Thank you. I'm great.
Good. So tell us more about this symposium. What exactly is a trauma symposium?
So we are the trauma center in the area, the only trauma center, and part of our responsibility is to provide education, professional and public education. This is the professional component of that, and it's basically different topics, usually related to what we're seeing a lot of. If we're seeing a lot of car accidents or whatever the issue is that we're dealing with, we try to make topics that are current and speakers that are knowledgeable. So trauma surgeons speak. We have nurses, trauma surgeons, PA, and we talk about those to train not only our staff from the hospital and our physicians, but also professionals from around the community and in our rural areas.
So would that include, your first responders, volunteer fire departments, or even like rural hospitals and those sorts of things?
Yeah, so I'm really excited this year. We have included an EMS, so Emergency Medical Services breakout session. So we're having education specific for first responders, EMTs, paramedics. They'll have a couple of sessions just for them. And then the rural hospitals are always included. That's a big part. We want to include them because that's who sends us the patients.
Sure. And what do you find are the biggest issues that a lot of those rural first responders or such that they're dealing with that a symposium like this can really help them with?
Well, the biggest issue for them, or the biggest probably concern, is getting the patient out of their facility or to our hospital with their ambulance. And so we want to give them the tools and the knowledge to be able to stabilize the patient and get everything cared for or done that needs to be done in order to stabilize them and get them to the trauma surgeon at the trauma center so that we can provide definitive care for those patients.
And I have to imagine a lot of those professions need to get continuing education hours, things like that. Can they get that through attending the symposium?
Yes, we have continuing education hours provided for the physicians or the providers, so that's the PAs and nurse practitioners, as well as the RNs and the paramedics. So they will get continuing ed for that.
Terrific. And so tell us how they can register for this and exactly when and where.
Mm-hmm. So the symposium is this Friday, and it is at the Randolph Riverfront Center from 7:30 to 2:30, and they can call 318-769-4440, or it's also on our website at rapidsregional.com under calendar of events, and they can register there as well. So either way, they can get registered. They can register at the door. We would be okay with that too. It's $50 for non-employees. So.
Yeah, that's not too bad, and you learn a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a nice breakfast and a nice lunch.
Oh, well, hey.
Included.
Terrific.
$50, get lunch and breakfast, man. So
yeah.
I know this is the 11th annual symposium. How did this idea even come about 11 years ago?
Well, when we started the trauma program, there was a different director. Donna Lemoyne was here then. I was in the ER, but we knew we had to provide the professional education, and this was a great way to bring in speakers, involve our trauma surgeons, involve our staff, and they really, it kind of grew from there. Every year we started out with a pretty small venue and a smaller number of attendees, around 50 or 75. And the last year we were over 100. Before COVID, we had gotten up to 150. So my goal is to get us back up to 150 or more. We provide education for a large area, so it's a pretty big area. Yeah. We actually have added patient. We have a couple of patients that come back and we tell their story and we get to show the great success stories. So that was very well received last year, and we have one of those this year as well.
Outstanding. So, well, it sounds like a great day, and I hope a lot of people will show up for this. Again, people can show up the day of, 7:30 until 2:30, Friday at the Randolph Riverfront Center. Anything else that folks need to know about this?
I think that's it. I really appreciate y'all giving me the time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Sean, thank you so much for being with us here this morning on Talkback.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yes, ma'am. Sean Morrow, she is the Director of Trauma Services at Refuge Regional Medical Center. Again, the 11th Annual Trauma Symposium. It's Friday at the Randolph Riverfront Center, 7:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. We'll take another break. Coming back with more on the other side.
KSYL. This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with the clinics, where we pride ourselves in providing exceptional care. We offer a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, acute and urgent care, podiatry, and gastroenterology, along with an on-site lab and x-ray. Our new family medicine physician, Dr. Noah Miller, is accepting new patients. Same-day appointments are available, and most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The clinics, 1587 North Bolton, 445-9823. Online at theclinics.us.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Sinaloa's best at Bricato's Restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt-in-your-mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's Restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
A message from Israel Air Conditioning and Heating.
Yeah, my mama, she told me to pick up and call Israel Air.
She told me Israel Air.
She said they'll come running with comfort beyond compare.
At a very fair price.
Because you know we're all about your comfort, no trouble. Call 442-6657. That's 442-6657. We're all about your comfort,
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK-BACK.
All right, we are back here on Talk Back, here on your Wednesday morning. Al Quartermont, Trish Lala with you at 442-8255, BOM Bank Talk Line. And let's go to the phones. Good morning, you're on Talk Back.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I learned a new word the other day, or a new term, I guess is what you call it. I watch my grandchildren, and I have 4 granddaughters and a grandson. And every one of my granddaughters, if you hand them a doll, they love it. They mother it. They hold it. They pretend to rock it. And, nobody ever taught them that. Now, my grandson will be 1 tomorrow, and if you give him a doll, he drags it on the ground and makes truck sounds, okay? Because he makes it look like his daddy's truck. And we didn't teach him that. He just saw his daddy's truck. And, it's the same thing with my nephews, or my grandnephews. I don't know if y'all remember when James Carville made a comment a while back before the election that the Democratic Party is now being run by pink-haired ladies. You remember that?
Yeah.
They didn't get much airplay because it's bad for the Democrats. But he made that comment. Well, I heard this term the other day called misplaced mothering. Have you ever heard that term?
Misplaced mothering.
Yes.
No,
misplaced mothering.
I don't know if I've heard it, but I kind of am guessing the concept.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it's when women don't have children, their mothering instincts need to be satisfied in some other way. Is that
exactly?
Okay.
Exactly. For a good while, it was dogs. You heard that they would talk about their dogs like their children, or cats. Yeah. Well, J.D. Vance got in trouble for that. Yeah. But more accurately, or more express, they want to mother everyone. And so when you say something that they think is going to be bad for their quote-unquote babies, man, they come after you. They come after you with the tenacity and the ferocity of a mother bear, of an actual mother defending her children. And Trish, I'm sure you know how this is. If somebody mentions your babies, man, and what's due to nature. Yeah, look, they're not. You don't have to look far to find a video of a female grizzly bear, half the size of a male, driving him away because he got close to her cubs. Because a male grizzly will eat cubs. And so, but in politics, Victor Davis Hanson made this observation a few years back. He said these leftists love humanity, but not individual people. They don't want you. They don't want them living next to them. But if you say something against the illegal alien or whatever, man, they come after you, and they come after you with that tenacity that is characteristic of a mother bear. And so, anyways, I thought that was interesting, and it explains so much of the way they get. If you try to talk to these people, they fly off the handle and note that they have no ability to rationally discuss things if they detect that you don't believe what they believe should be done for the unfortunate or the underserved communities. They love that term, or illegal aliens. And I just thought that was interesting. So misplaced mothering. That's the word for the day, or the term. All right.
Yeah,
Y'all have a great day.
I can see that. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Again, our number 442-8255 here on Talkback. Yesterday, the mayor of Alexandria, Jacques Roy, held a mayoral briefing, and part of that also was him talking about several bills that are down at the legislature that would impact directly the city of Alexandria. If you didn't have a chance to hear it yesterday, Nathan and Sandra broke those bills down. I believe that was in the 8 o'clock hour. So one of them has to do with the city's utilities, and this is a bill that's sponsored by Senator Jay Luno. It would enhance the operational framework for the City of Alexandria's Public Power Authority, looking to amend existing public records laws to protect commercially sensitive information related to the city's utility operations. At a hearing last week, I believe it was, down at the legislature, April 23rd, I think. Anyway, Mayor Roy was there and explained that the city generates its own power and sells directly to customers. The proposed legislation would add Alexandria to a list of municipalities exempt from disclosing certain proprietary information similar to protections already afforded to larger utility companies like Entergy. The mayor says the change is crucial to maintain competitive advantages, as it would prevent competitors from accessing Alexandria's resource plans and operational strategies. So he also said it would ensure transparency while safeguarding sensitive data. Right now, you can pretty much see anyone's utility bill who pays the city of Alexandria. Mm-hmm. And so I guess that is part of this, but during the hearing, or the briefing yesterday, the mayor was talking about this in context of a story that the local TV station did, where they had talked with a couple of people who were unhappy with their utility bills. And, well, the story didn't sit too well with the mayor. So let's take a listen to what he had to say about this topic.
I have a different view on that. I don't like that people's bills are public. I don't like that people say that the city cut me off when I know it's not for what they're saying, which is daily. But I still don't want to go put their business out on Front Street, as we might say. That's not the design. But right now you can. So anyone who wants to look at a bill, KLB did a story. If someone were to go pull the bills of the people in the story, their billing history, you're going to have your answer. KLB chose not to do that. I think they shouldn't have run the story until they do that. But I also don't like the idea of doing that, because you know, so it's a kind of a catch-22. If they're going to run the story but not get the facts, then we get a little beat up by that. I would say don't run the story till you confirm the facts. KLB might answer that, guys, and this is hard to hear when you're in the public life role, but they may say it doesn't change if someone said it to us. So we can run a story just by what someone says, because that's what they're saying. And again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Okay? That's for y'all to think through. So that is a council policy. I don't know how to answer that for you guys, but right now, every utility bill history is a public record.
Okay, so clearly he was a little frustrated with the story, just from the standpoint of he seems to feel that the proper or the full examination of the issue wasn't made by checking into, you know, what's the history? How far were they behind? And I know a lot of things still stem from when we had COVID, and then we had the cybersecurity hack of the city, and a lot of people got way behind, and people were being urged to continue to pay, even if they weren't getting a bill, kind of pay an estimation of what you normally would pay. But unfortunately, a lot of people just stopped paying. But, you know, I mean, yes, that whole time period was a mess with utilities. I remember being up here and trying to sort through all of that. Right. But yeah, I think you have a lot of that where people just stop paying. Yeah. But you're using the electricity. Right. You know, exactly. You pay your bills at some point in time. You still have to pay your bills. I remember in the reporting about it, the local station a couple of years ago, if you remember this, they were trying to do some stories, and then the city that released information that a couple of their own reporters had been behind? You remember that?
Yeah,
and they kind of went on air and admitted, okay, which I was like, I don't know that I would have made my guys do that, but I don't know. So.
Good thing you weren't news director or anything like that, huh?
Yeah. So it's, I don't know, there just seems to be some contention continuing, and
and I mean, there was a lot of back and forth on both sides. KLB posted, KLB posted, that the story, and you just trying to go through all of the comments underneath there, and to both sides of it. Yeah, I don't want do you want everybody just to be able to walk in and look up your utility bill history?
I mean, for me, I wouldn't care because we pay on time, but I mean, maybe there are some issues with your personal data or whatnot that's just out there like that. But I mean, let's face it, there's so much data on us out there online anyway.
Absolutely.
That we, willingly give away, say, oh, we're concerned about our privacy, security, whatever, because of that with the city, but then you jump on TikTok.
I was just going to say that. You're going to jump on TikTok at your house, showing everything.
Yeah, I mean, and I saw, I think it was like a lawyer or somebody went through TikTok's user agreement, and it's just frightening the levels of potential security breaches there with folks.
Wow.
So it's kind of situational, but
I get his point that look, it is, you can go look up the record. So if you're going to interview people who are, giving the city utility department that hard a time about what's going on, well, maybe take a look at their bill first.
Right.
I mean, have they been still behind since 2020?
Right.
I mean, if you're 5 years behind in your bill, you know what?
And I didn't see that story, so I'm not exactly sure what all. Did you happen to see it?
I saw it, but it was one of those that you watch it and then you kind of go, it's that same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
I feel like people feel like they can beat up on the City of Alexandria Utility Department over and over and over. It's an easy target right there.
Yeah.
And
that was kind of Mayor Roy's point, was he was defending the utility department and claiming that actually they have a really good one.
Right.
But stories like that make it seem like they don't.
Exactly.
So, and you said you saw the comments on the Facebook post?
Oh, yeah. There's, I mean, how many? I have to go back and see how many comments there are on here. Well, I mean, there's only 70 comments.
Yeah.
Compared to like the ones that have 500 comments, but still 70 comments. And people on all sides of it. And then they bring, Clico into it. And is it because he wants to hide, does he like this bill because he wants to hide the fact that they're buying power from Clico and increasing the charge to the residents? Then you have the residents say, no, our power is actually lower priced than all of you that pay Clico.
Right.
Because it's all the back and forth on there. But again, if you're actually going to do investigative reporting, these bills are public. Go look at them.
Yeah.
Pull them up. Look at them.
Right. All right, let's take a call. Good morning. You are on Talkback.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand how we can collect excess taxes in the Rapides Parish and distribute those to a select group of individuals. That doesn't sound right to me. If maybe we should cut our taxes and not have this excess a way of recruiting employees. So, I mean, the hospitals could charge you an extra $20 on your bill and give it to their personnel to recruit that way.
You're asking a good question, and I'm not 100% sure what the legal. What am I trying to say? I'm not familiar.
What is the channel of these excess funds? Maybe is that what you're
like how it's collected or how it's dedicated. I don't know if that was from a certain tax that was implemented, where they said the proceeds from this will go toward the school
education.
Yeah. If anybody knows, feel free to. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about $3,000 per teacher. You're talking about a lot of. You're talking about a lot of money here.
Yeah, $7,000 actually.
I mean, with $10,000, $3,000 for the non
support staff, I guess you would call it.
So you're looking at. Yeah, so I mean, if you put a pen to paper on that, you're talking about a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And with Rapides Parish taxes being some of the highest in the nation, I mean, I mean, I get it. Teachers and employees deserve, but I mean, it's coming off the backs of the elderly, the people, the older people of the community to help subsidize the school board.
Well, just wait till we find out how much money the state is bringing in through that extra sales tax that they passed.
Without passing our income tax.
Right.
Exactly. So all this extra tax money that they now have.
Yeah,
no more.
And when they get ready to run again,
at least we know it'll be spent wisely.
Right.
So we didn't raise taxes, but they'll forget about the one in December that they slipped in while we was all shopping for Christmas. All right, man. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. We need to take a break. We'll come back with more calls.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Have you heard? Quibinos has done it again. Mom eats free this Mother's Day? Seriously? Quibinos Cajun Cafe in Pineville is treating your mom to a free 3-course dinner from a special menu designed for her and the family. Enjoy delicious options like prime sirloin, bourbon salmon, Cajun Alfredo, stuffed catfish, and award-winning desserts. Dine in only from 10:30 till 4. Tables will fill fast, so come early. Mom eats free when accompanied by her family. We'll see you all soon at Quibinos Cajun Cafe in Pineville.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
There we go. I kept pressing the button and it wouldn't turn on. Now it's on. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning, Al. Good morning, Trish. How are you?
Hey, good morning.
This is Rick Ranson. Full disclosure, I work for Mayor Roy.
Yes, sir.
And it was all I could do to not call, but I have to call regarding these stories. I'm not going to go into the history of the individuals in the stories, but I think the only complaint I have, you teach journalism, you teach that in college. Mm-hmm. In the old days, you had to confirm your source. Now anybody can walk off the street and tell a story. This is not the first time it's happened with KLB. Just tell a story and we'll put them on the air. These 2 ladies just happened, in quote, to walk off the street together with a story. And again, I'm not going to go into their payment record, even though it is public record. My complaint is confirm your stories, okay? Just don't take somebody's word that walks off the street and says, Al Quarterman has robbed a bank. Okay, let's put it on the air.
Right.
Confirm. Right. That's all I'm saying is confirm the story. There's a lot of stories out there, but these are not stories. These are, I don't know what the problem is with KLB.
Well, you're making the point about what I call verification, which is that extra step that you take to make sure that what somebody is telling you is so. And you're right. I think that is something that needs to be done. I always talk about when I'm teaching my class, if your mother, as a journalist, if your mother says that she loves you, check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Before you broadcast it all over the reach, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think they have an obligation to do that. There are plenty of stories out there that can be confirmed, but these are not stories.
Yeah. And I think that was kind of the point I was trying to make is, if the records are out there, why would you not try to confirm it, except for the fact that, I mean, I don't know, you watch the news these days and most of it is syndicated that they're pulling in there. Mm-hmm. And so are they in such need of something local that, like you said, they just walked in off the street and said, oh, hey, here's something we can talk about locally that maybe will cause a controversy enough to get us some traffic. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even, like I say, I'm not going to go into the details of the story as much as I'd like to. I just wish anybody who wants to report on the city, get it right. That's all. If you can't confirm it, don't say it.
Yeah. No, I think that's
anyway,
fair. Yeah.
You can sense my frustration, but it's just not. I wouldn't want this to happen to anybody, and personally, that somebody does a story that's not true, and it gets broadcast all over the place. So that's all I'm saying is confirm your stories.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the call this morning. We appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Right.
Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning. I got a question for you, Al.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about taxes. In Rapides Parish, out in the country, where is all the most of the public roads in the parish is at? They're out in the country, right?
Right.
And who get the less money? The less money to fix these roads. The rural areas, the wards in the rural areas. You know, like Ward 6, Ward 5, 7, some more of them that's in the rural areas. And who can generate the most tax money, or the less tax money? The country parishes, the wards in the country. They used to be restricted by wards. You know, Ward 5, Ward 6, but now they got these districts. You know, H, all the I and all these districts.
Right.
Okay, now in the rural area of the parish, they collect less taxes because they don't have the infrastructure they got in the cities. You know, colleges and factories and stuff. We don't have, out in the country, we don't have all this money coming in.
Right.
Okay. And who's charged? We out here in the country, we get charged more, higher rate for what, cause we still don't collect much taxes. We still can't build up no money for our rural roads, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I live out here, and we got little parish roads. They say they can't, no money, you can't fix none of them, but yet in town, they got more money, got all the money in town, and they can fix roads, build new roads to lakes, asphalt them. But out here in the country, we can't get nothing. So why don't they take all that money, put it together in one pot, and distribute it with the needs? It's always the needs. And fix the roads out in the parishes too, in the rural areas too.
Yeah.
Plus, use most of it. Still use most of it in the town.
Sir, it's going to cut you off right now. We're right up against the top of the hour. So,
but still, that's what let me look at.
You've been listening to. All right. Thank you for your call. We'll be back with more.
Expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting. FM 104.9, AM 970, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3 HD3, Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Chris Lipsey in Rome. Later today, the big show begins. It starts with Cardinals, all 133 of the Cardinal electors from around the world gathering in the Pauline Chapel. They will then process into the Sistine Chapel, and that's about all we're supposed to see of them. For more news, here's Matt Piper.
You may be in a screening line a little longer today. Real IDs are now required at airports, but as our Chris Van Cleve reports, the government says 1 in 5 Americans do not have one.
At the checkpoint, the TSA's ID scanner will alert officers if an ID is not compliant.
It says right here, not real ID.
So you'll get this red bar.
Yeah, it's very, very, very obvious. You cannot miss it.
The TSA declined to describe what the extra screening will entail or how long it may take.
On top of Real ID lines, Newark Airport is now on day 10 of dealing with flight delays and cancellations because of old equipment. And we're just hearing from air traffic controllers on ATC.net from when computers went down for a short time last week.
United 2343, I am going to move you here because I just got told that the approach lost all the radars. 3 of the 4 radar screens went black, and they have no frequency.
Pakistan's leader is calling this an act of war. India fired missiles across the border into Pakistan and the territory it controls in Kashmir. At least 26 people were killed. There are worries of a nuclear war. For the second time in just over a week, an F-18 fighter jet assigned to the USS Harry S. Truman has been lost in the Red Sea. CBS's Charlie D'Agata.
A U.S. defense official told CBS News this morning the jet was coming into land Tuesday when it failed to catch the wire. It's known as failed arrestment, sending a $70 million aircraft overboard. Both pilots safely ejected and they were rescued by helicopter. They're recovering from minor injuries.
Wall Street is poised to open with gains as the Federal Reserve prepares to wrap up its policy meeting, with most expecting Fed Chair Jerome Powell to keep interest rates unchanged. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Powell and the Fed, they're trying to balance 2 things. One is we want to make sure the economy grows enough to create jobs, and we want to make sure we contain inflation. But with looming tariffs, we don't know which of those is more important right now. That likely means we'll stay at 4.25% to 4.5%.
An alligator attacked and killed a woman in a Central Florida lake. She was with her husband at the time of the deadly attack. It happened near the mouth of Tiger Creek into Lake Kissimmee, south of Orlando. The woman was later recovered from the water and declared dead. Officials say serious injuries caused by alligators are actually rare in Florida. This is CBS News.
A word from Progressive Insurance. Life can be hard, so Progressive can make bundling your home and auto easy. Hope that helps. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jeff Palermo. A substance sometimes referred to as gas station heroin is one step closer to being banned in Louisiana.
The state Senate passes a bill that would make the sale or possession of kratom illegal in Louisiana. SB 154 passed along party lines 26-11. Its author, West Monroe Republican Jay Morris, says Deputy Health Secretary Dr. Pete Krogan has seen the devastating effects of kratom.
He's an addiction specialist, and he said that he treats more people for kratom addiction than he does crack.
Senator Morris says the FDA has not approved kratom and discourages its use. The bill now moves to the House. I'm Andrew Greenstein.
At this time last year, John Foster was graduating from Bruley High School in West Baton Rouge Parish. Now he's one of 7 remaining contestants on American Idol. His high school principal, Walt Lemoyne.
The fact that he's where he is, I'm not surprised, but then just when you think about it, last year he was graduating from high school and running the halls of Bruley High School in Little Addis, Louisiana.
LRN.
The cost of air travel is more than just the ticket price. It's also fuel, meals, lodging, parking, and time. The more we fly AEX, the better our chances of bringing back flights to Houston and Charlotte. Support AEX and help our community grow. Find your true cost at local.flyaex.org.
Good morning. We'll start our Wednesday with cloudy skies, partial sunshine during the afternoon hours. Possibility, though, of a stray shower or thunderstorm, and a 20% chance of that. Afternoon highs near 79 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Again, the possibility of a shower or thunderstorm overnight, 61 the overnight low. And you got it. More of the same really in store for us on Thursday. A 40% chance of rain. Afternoon high, 83. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 67 degrees in Cenla.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
All right, welcome back, everyone, for hour number 2 of Talkback here on your Wednesday morning. I'm Al Quartermont, along with Trish Lala. We don't have any Wednesday guests today in this 8 o'clock hour. Normally we have guests, but
I know it's a little strange.
We had a 5 Wednesday month last month, and it kind of threw that schedule off just a little bit. But
yeah, so we'll have to look. I think we'd probably have our, because a lot of times on Wednesday we'll have our superintendent, Jeff Powell, here. Right. We'll have Greg here. We'll have, but I think it's just the way the weeks have worked. Now you've got you and I.
Yep,
For the whole next hour, it's just us and our callers.
So, want to thank the folks from Bluebell. They're in the studios this morning.
And our empty Bluebell ice cream cups right here.
Right.
Yeah.
So they do what they call like the round robin interviews, when they bring Bluebell in, they go to all of our other stations, Q93, KISS 98.7, KWRV 100.3, and then
You're good, Al.
KZMZ 96.9.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's very good.
But they don't include AM 970 KSYL in the tour. But fortunately, Trish,
I chased him down.
She chased him down and brought in a couple of samples of, what is it?
Well, this is Groom's Cake. So they always come in when they're re-releasing or releasing a new flavor. That's when they come in, and they do the car wash is what we call it, of all of the stations up here. And so Groom's Cake actually was a flavor of theirs, but they discontinued it back in 2018. So they brought it back out now, and it's a chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake in it, chocolate cake pieces, chocolate covered strawberry hearts, and chocolate icing. And we were lucky enough to get our little samples during our break, which was just the right amount of time.
Yeah.
I said, I don't eat ice cream on the regular.
Yeah.
But that was really yummy.
If I could, I wouldn't do it. Kind of like when Mayor Roy said in his soundbite that we played, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right?
But I could eat ice cream every day, literally. It's definitely one of my favorite foods. I miss the custard from up north. I know we have Freddy's here now.
Yeah.
And I've gone to the Alexandria Freddy's a time or two. I know the traffic situation there is a little congestive, but they're building the one in Pineville.
Right.
And I'm just worried that that's going to become a frequented place by me at least once or twice a week once it's opened. So, but not all bad.
I never had a calling for custard or anything like that. And like I said, I don't eat ice cream on the regular. But
I either like really good custard or really good hard ice cream. So
we had the best hard ice cream place growing up.
Really?
And you'd go get the cone that they would stack like as tall as they could get it on there. That was always the thing. And how many different flavors would you have them stack on top of each other?
Oh yeah. When I was a kid, my mom used to walk us in the evening when we'd walk to Baskin Robbins. There's a Baskin Robbins, and I always love that hard ice cream. But locally, if there's a place that I'll do kind of a cheat meal once in a while, it's the Marble Slab, the one in Pineville.
Oh, really?
Here's a tip.
Okay.
The amaretto in a waffle cone.
Really?
So good. So good. I stopped there yesterday, and the guy who manned like the drive-through, whatever, he's like, I'm gonna have to make some more of this for you. We're getting short on it. And I hadn't been there in like 3 weeks, but I think he just remembered the last time I was there. So, but there's just something about that flavor that's so
I had
good.
a period of time I was addicted to Wendy's Frosties.
Oh yeah, my wife too.
Yeah.
She loves them.
Yeah. Just the original Frosty.
Yeah.
Like now you drive up and it's chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. Just give me whatever the original Frosty was. But I don't get those these days
I think
anymore.
it was on
either.
Twitter. I saw somebody they bought a box of the ice cream sandwiches from Walmart.
I saw that
Great Value
too.
brand, and they let it sit out, and it doesn't melt at all. It's just.
I saw that also. I was like, remind me to never buy. Like every once in a while, my kids will want to get ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah.
And remind me never to buy the Walmart brand.
Not like real ice cream, I guess. It's probably a lot of seed oils.
Does it make you want to go get a box and try it yourself?
Yeah, to see if it actually does that.
Yeah, I want to try it too.
But no, you can't. And I remember, I think it was when my son got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and we were meeting with the nutrition person at Cabrini and talking about like foods to avoid or be careful of. And somehow ice cream came up, and she said, well, actually ice cream isn't that bad because, you have the fats in it from the cream. And I was like, okay, so she's saying it's okay to eat ice cream then.
You're saying it's good for me.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure that it depends on what kind you get.
Yeah.
I'm sure a vanilla is going to be healthier for you to eat than, say, the Groom's Cake or whatever we just had with all the other stuff
sure was good.
added into it. But no, there's some, was there anything ever better than homemade ice cream?
No.
Yeah. And then it would melt and you could just drink like the rest of it.
Yep.
So good. But memories of kids.
Memories of kids.
Yeah.
Back to the real world.
Back to the real world. 442-8255 is our number here on Talkback. From the Louisiana Illuminator, headline kind of grabbed my attention. Story by Julie O'Donoghue. Louisiana lawmakers might lift restrictions on gifts to elected officials and government employees. Yeah. So this is House Bill 674, sponsored by Representative Bo Bolio, Republican from New Iberia, would eliminate a prohibition in state ethics law on public sector employees and elected leaders from receiving gifts in most circumstances. Instead, government employees would be able to receive any type of gift worth up to $100 per event with an annual cap of $200. They would be able to accept an additional $200 in seasonal or holiday food gifts for a total limit of $400 in gifts. So, let's see. I'm trying to read into it more. If his bill passes, the higher threshold of gift giving would be open to most public employees, from local health inspectors and motor vehicle office workers to legislators and the governor. The only public employees with stricter gift restrictions might be K through 12 teachers. What? An existing ban on public school educators receiving a gift of over $25 per item from a student with a maximum of $75 per year would remain unchanged. Okay, someone's got to break this.
You have to see Al's face while he's reading all of this if you're not watching us live.
So if you're a politician, you can get up to $400 in gifts, but if you're a K through 12 teacher, you can only get up to $75? What? So are they worried that teachers that get gifts, like, it would impact how they give grades? Is that what the issue is?
I don't know, but hello, the gifts you're giving the politicians don't have any impact.
So this bill was approved 96-0 on Monday.
By the way, Al, we can't accept gifts in my profession.
Oh, as real estate?
Right.
Yeah.
You can only be paid from your broker. So as an agent, you go sell a house and, receiving, that's one of those parts of the law there too, in receiving gifts. So, but let's up the amount we can give.
And journalists aren't supposed to receive gifts as well because it can impact the way you do your job, supposedly. So I guess I'm going to have to throw up that ice cream.
That wasn't a gift, Al. That was a...
You have to report that.
Right.
17 cents worth of ice cream. But no, I mean...
It was a promotional item.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because as a person that worked in the sports media, for example, in Milwaukee, you would go to all the sporting events, Brewers games, Bucks games, and, they have pregame meals for you, in-game food, post-game meals. And I guess it's changed to where a lot of the outlets started to refuse that. So now the teams offer it, but you have to pay like a certain amount.
Oh, really?
Of money.
Well, I mean, like when we were just at the Final Four, you walked in and every seat had a scarf on it.
Yeah.
From Capital One or whoever, right?
Right.
But even all those journalist tables down there, because again, I was after my media access that I did not get, and there were still some open media seats down there, by the way. But I'm not bitter about it. Even the media seats had the scarves on them too. So look, there's a gift.
Yeah.
Do they all have to leave them there?
So, I remember going to a banquet one time that the Milwaukee Bucks put on, and they put like a keychain on every table. And one of the newspaper guys was like, "Hey, I can't take this." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll take it." I mean, at the end of the day, is it going to really affect how I do my job?
I know.
But I mean, some areas are very, very, very nitpicky about that, and I get it. So, in this article, it says Stephen Jale, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, a private attorney who works on ethics and campaign finance matters for Governor Landry, helped write the legislation. He said the bill was crafted with input from the ethics board, staff, civic organizations, and public servants who have faced ethics investigations. The state's current zero tolerance for gift giving is excessive, he said. It punishes people who are acting ethically and creates confusion. Criminal statutes exist to deal with people who abuse gift giving for the purpose of bribery and other corruption. So So the ethics board staff has fielded calls from librarians, for example, about whether they can accept cookies from several public servants have asked whether they're allowed to receive king cakes during Mardi Gras season. Yet, Bolio's bill might nullify other state laws that place restrictions on what food, drinks, and promotional material can be given to elected officials and public employees. Public servants are only able to accept the current equivalent of $79 worth of food and drink at any single event they attend under the current law. The cap will go up to $81 in July because it's tied to the federal Consumer Price Index. If Bolio's bill becomes law, the cap would automatically jump to $100 for food and drink at 2 events per year, or $200 per 1 event, again, if it is seasonal or holiday food. So the limitations on state employees and elected officials accepting promotional items, typically from lobbyists and industry groups, to just those that have no resale value would be lifted. So, for example, business and industry groups that now give state lawmakers hats or plastic cups with their logos on them could possibly give out promotional items worth up to $100 during a legislative session. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of odd that we're dealing with this right now.
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking. Like, of all the things we have to deal with right now, right? Because we don't have any large issues at play to focus on.
Yeah.
But maybe they just are tired of filling out the forms.
Next time I run into one of my legislators, I want to ask him about this. Like, what's kind of the spirit behind this? You know, what's the purpose? Now, isn't it true, can't legislators get tickets to like LSU games and things like that? Am I remembering that wrong?
I don't know how it all works, but I think they do. I don't know.
Is that why you ran for office?
That's exactly why I ran for office, Al, is I wanted tickets to all the LSU games. That was why.
At least the Auburn game.
Except we don't play each other. Yeah. Like, we have a kid at LSU, and the whole time she's there, we don't play each other. Yeah. Because the new SEC schedule, they add in all these teams, and now some of your key games that's crazy. That's
like one of the best rivalries.
Tell me about it.
Wow.
Tell me about it. Believe me, I live here.
Yeah.
I know. So
now I get to play Missouri instead, or whatever.
Oklahoma.
Well,
Texas. I have to look back and see, because it's crazy now. Like, again, you knew all these games, and you knew when most of them occurred for the most part.
Right.
Like what part of the schedule.
Yeah.
Early season, mid-season. Now it's like, who again? Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. More Talkback coming up.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics, with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with The Clinics, where we pride ourselves in providing exceptional care. We offer a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, acute and urgent care, podiatry, and gastroenterology, along with an on-site lab and x-ray. Our new family medicine physician, Dr. Noah Miller, is accepting new patients. Same-day appointments are available, and most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics, 1587 North Bolton, 445-9823. Online at theclinics.us.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Sinla's best at Bricato's restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt in your mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's restaurant. 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Time out. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
Hey, Joe, I thought you were retired.
Living on a fixed income is tough. So here I am, an essential worker.
I know. I mean, food prices are going up every day. Thank goodness for benefitscheckup.org.
Benefits what?
benefitscheckup.org. It's a free website where people over 60 can find help to pay for food, medicine, even utilities. I got $1,200 a year in benefits. Maybe it can help you.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BON Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BON Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. Now back to Talk Back.
All right, we're back. Al and Trish with you. Let's go to the phones on the BOM Bank Talk line. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, talking about the Louisiana Eliminator, they put out some good stuff, but they got a very liberal bent. I mean,
they do.
They recently put out an article ripping Robert Kennedy, and one thing they said, he suggested letting the bird flu virus rip unchecked through infected chicken flocks, even though scientists say they could unleash dangerous mutations. He's not the only one that has suggested that might be the answer. You know, there's been a lot of discussion among scientists. Maybe it would be better just let the chickens go through the virus, and some of them survive, and then their offspring would have a inherited resistance. But the one that really irritated me, he said he's back cell phone bans in schools, saying phones cause cancer in kids. Most studies have found no such link. Well, that's most studies. But here's what he really said in his position on banning cell phones. He said he has highlighted the potential link between social media and mental health issues like depression and anxiety. He suggests that cell phone use can negatively impact academic performance. He believes limiting cell phone use in schools could allow students to engage in more real-life interaction and social activities. He suggests a more healthy environment for students can be created by restricting cell phone use. I don't think anybody can argue with that.
Right.
He did say he has raised concerns about the potential health impacts of electromagnetic radiation from cell phones. But they left out all the other things about the mental health and all that. They just focused on his allegation that cell phones could cause cancer in kids. And like you said, most studies have found no such link. Well, maybe some studies did find a link. I don't know. They've been arguing that electromagnetic radiation for years. They've never come up with a definitive answer to whether they do cause cancer.
Right.
My gut reaction is it's not good, to walk around with a cell phone in your pocket all day, every day.
Oh, I know one thing I won't use are wireless earbuds because of the EMF that you get from those. I've seen demonstrations where they take like those devices that track EMF signals and how high they are.
Really?
In the wireless earbuds, yes. I just use the plugged-in ones.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any of the plugged ones anymore.
No. Most people don't. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, the convenience of the wireless is really nice, especially if you're like working out, the cord's not getting in your way and all that, but...
Yeah, unless one falls out and you can't find it anywhere.
Or you misplace them completely.
Yeah.
So. I hadn't read about that. I have a pair of those AirPods.
Yeah.
I have the latest one. It kind of works like a hearing aids. So at night, my wife's fussing. I got the TV too loud. I can put them in.
The biggest problem with health and health issues, whether it be cell phones and, cancer links or whatever, is that you never feel like we're getting an honest assessment of these things. And we know why, because of the money that is involved. I mean, imagine if it did come out that cell phones, for example, the signals were causing an increase in cancer. Just think of the lawsuits, So you're talking about huge lobbies and all of this that go into our current health. I did notice the Illuminator had a story about how a nonpartisan poll finds remarkably low trust in federal health agencies. Yeah, duh. So, and I think a lot of it is because you have so much alternative media out there that people are reading now, and it's making them question everything. The issue, for example, of like fluoride in the water. The studies that show that does impact. It does impact the development of the brain and things like that. So, and I saw that the Illuminator had a story of Louisiana removes fluoride from water. Officials should tackle Cancer Alley next. Well, that's another thing. So all of this, though, comes back to money when you really think about it.
Yeah. This Dr. Marsha Edgell, she works for Harvard, but anyway, she was on the editorial staff of the New England Journal of Medicine, and for 20 years, and she rose up to be the editor-in-chief in '99. But it came out, the New England Journal of Medicine is supposed to be one of the most prestigious medical journals in the medical industry. Well, anyway, she quit. She came out with a statement. She said, "You can no longer trust any of the studies that are published in medical journals." I don't say this. She said, I'll paraphrase you, I hate to say this, but it's true. You cannot trust these studies anymore. Because pharma controls those medical journals.
Yeah. Yep.
Medical journals at one time did those studies very well. They don't anymore. They just publish them, and they don't want to lose the advertising dollars from the medicals.
Yep.
Pharmaceutical industry.
Yep. So, like I said, money. All right. Thank you so much for the call this morning. We need to take another break. We'll come back with more calls.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks are set to open higher this morning ahead of promising U.S. trade talks with China and an update from the Fed later today. Most economists think interest rates will be left unchanged despite pressure from the White House. Shares of Uber are lower in early trading. Its delivery business is booming, but the company says rideshare bookings slowed down from the prior quarter, raising the possibilities of a pullback from customers. Trips have gotten pricier in some markets, which Uber blames on rising insurance costs. Cybersecurity company CrowdStrike is cutting about 500 jobs. That's about 5% of its global workforce. If the name sounds familiar to you, that's because CrowdStrike was the company that had the software update that crashed millions of computers around the world last summer. And Weight Watchers has filed for bankruptcy. The company, known for its diet programs, says it's struggling to compete with weight loss drugs like Ozempic. Weight Watchers says it's now talking to lenders and expects to complete a reorganization in about 45 days. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
Summertime in Cenla is just around the corner. Keep the fun sizzling while staying cool. Bounce into excitement at our indoor trampoline park and play centers. Cool off at local area arcades. Or immerse yourself in creativity at downtown art and children's museums. Beat the heat and savor the flavors at our local restaurants. Your taste buds will thank you. Strike up some fun. Hit the lanes for some cool bowling adventure. Want more cool ideas? Visit explorealexandriapineville.com.
In Central Louisiana, when you're talking great food, you're talking Southern Creations Country Lunch Buffet. At the base of the Jackson Street Bridge in Pineville, this Best of the Best award-winning lunch buffet is remarkable, featuring their signature fried chicken every day, an awesome variety of menu choices, and homemade desserts, including the now famous white chocolate bread pudding. No one does lunch better. Come have lunch with a friend or a group at Southern Creations. Daily menus posted on Facebook. Louisiana, game night just got interesting. This is your chance to build an empire, one scratch at a time. Play Monopoly Scratch Off from the lottery. Win up to $15,000. Choose your words carefully. Every letter counts when cash is on the line. Spell out your fortune and play Scrabble Scratch Off. Top prize $50,000. It's not just a game, it's a game changer.
The game is afoot. It's a classic case of mystery and deception. And everyone's a suspect.
Whoever you choose, uncover the mysteries of the new Clue Scratch-Off. Top prize is a whopping $100,000. All 3 fun and exciting games are available with Fast Play. Louisiana Lottery, giving you a reason to smile. Must be at least 21 to purchase. Clue, Monopoly, and Scrabble are trademarks of Hasbro.
Good morning. We'll start our Wednesday with cloudy skies, partial sunshine during the afternoon hours. Possibility, though, of a stray shower or thunderstorm, and a 20% chance of that. Afternoon highs near 79 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Again, the possibility of a shower or thunderstorm overnight, 61 the overnight low. And you got it. More of the same really in store for us on Thursday. A 40% chance of rain. Afternoon high, 83. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 68 degrees in Cenla.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back. Al and Trish with you, and let's go back to the phones on the BOM Bank Talk Line. Good morning, you're on Talk Back.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Well, everything's good. I enjoyed your discussion about the ice cream earlier. It reminded me of a story, and my dad, he's working in Lafayette this morning, so I don't have to worry about a defamation lawsuit over what I'm about to tell you. But he years ago had developed a bit of a bluebell problem.
Bluebell problem.
Yeah, it was upwards of like a half a gallon in 2 days or whatever, and he realized, like what we tell people is, look, if you like something like that, and have a little just to satisfy your craving, but the problem is the quantity.
Yeah.
So realizing that, he got some of those, the birthday party cups that they make.
Yes.
And so the first night, he ate 6.
Oh my goodness, my stomach.
It kind of defeated the purpose, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it kind of defeated the purpose. But anyway, I've laughed about that a long time, and I think he just gave up and went back to the half gallons. But in any event, so.
Are there any ice creams that are more healthful for you than others?
I do agree with something you said. Bluebell, Breyers, those are milk cream. It's about a less quantity of flour and refined sugar and artificial ingredients. So I for sure would say the lesser ingredient Bluebells, and try to limit your quantity like to a quarter of a cup, if that's even possible. Just to satisfy, your craving for it without, you don't have to have, the problem you get into is if it's 2 scoops, the cone, the toppings, well, then it's you're really going into the weeds. But if you can at least satisfy your craving, limit the quantity, then you'll be more successful.
Yeah, I grew up on that Breyers natural vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we had before Bluebell. Yeah, right. Breyers natural vanilla.
Before,
and then
before I moved here and I knew about Bluebell. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, anyway, so that's just my 2 cents.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You bet.
All right. We won't tell your dad you called either.
All right.
All right, let's go to the phones again. Good morning, you're on Talkback. Hello, good morning. Yep, they're gone. So, all right. Highly recommend an article on the hayride, and it's by a man named Michael Lunsford. Originally was published in Citizens for New Louisiana. The headline, Private Jets, billion-dollar claims, and your sky-high insurance rates. This is a pretty good one. He said, last week in Baton Rouge, a few lawmakers reminded us who they really represent. On the campaign trail, they promised to serve you, but once elected, they behave more like rulers than representatives. He quotes former state treasurer John Schroeder, who used to say, there's just something about that building. When someone gets elected and crosses the threshold, it's as if they lose 10 IQ points.
I remember him saying that, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he goes into...
And I remember hearing that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes into HB 576. That was the bill by Robbie Carter, Democrat, that no Republicans joined in sponsoring. It says it's one of those top-down Soviet-style price-fixing schemes like Kamala Harris proposed to, quote, get those profit barons at the grocery store instead of addressing the root cause of skyrocketing gasoline, grocery, and other costs caused by the failed policies of the Biden auto pen administration. Harris ran for office on the idea of capping how much the, quote, free market would be allowed to charge for goods and services. Price fixing has failed every time it's been tried, something Americans learned and have forgotten repeatedly since our nation's founding. It was probably Calvin Coolidge who said it best. If you aren't familiar with our 30th president of the United States, his hands-off approach to markets generated the greatest financial boom in our country that's ever been experienced. Regarding price controls, he asked, isn't it strange that men have the notion that by passing a law, they can suspend the operation of economics? A century later, once for rights, some Louisiana lawmakers are trying to defy economic gravity and expecting different results. There's a reason that our insurance rates are higher than every other single state. It might have something to do with who's flying legislators to luxury hunting lodges on private jets and who isn't. It's not because the same insurance companies that operate fairly in the other 49 states suddenly decide to just take advantage of Louisiana. Man, this is a good article. HB 576 didn't have a chance, so freshman Brian Glorioso amended HB 148 to include those price controls. The amended bill couldn't have squeaked out of the House without the unanimous Democratic Party support that it received. Lunsford says a few days ago he attended a Freedom Caucus dinner with Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple there, reviewing some numbers in his prepared remarks. He said that New York has approximately 5 times the population of Louisiana, yet has fewer personal injury insurance claims. Not fewer per capita, but fewer in number, period.
Right.
He said his findings show Louisiana has the highest per capita injury claims of any other state, and number 2 isn't even close. The numbers are sobering and point to an abuse of the system, not the insurers. So what would happen if someone were gifted the power to control how much insurance companies could charge for services in Louisiana? That should be a pretty easy question for anyone in business. Insurance companies would either go broke or just get out, like thousands of frustrated Louisiana residents already have. This guy is taking it. The results of price fixing are as simple as they are predictable. If the insurance commissioner unilaterally lowers rates, insurance companies will be forced to leave the state. That reduces competition. That raises prices. Those higher prices would be all his fault, though. See, that's what I've been saying. They're setting this up for Temple to be the scapegoat.
Yeah.
That reduces the competition. Again, it will be all his fault. Alternatively, if he doesn't unilaterally force lower rates, the high rates would also be his fault. So he's stuck in a no-win situation. And that's the trap. Force lower premiums, companies flee. Refuse, you're blamed anyway. Louisiana doesn't want a scapegoat once for rights. We want reasonable insurance rates. But the people profiting most from our current system can buy more time by blaming someone else for our higher rates. So why is our insurance so high here? He said the truth is nobody's willing to point to one single thing as a solution. However, we all intrinsically know something's not right. After all, it's not the insurance companies using private jets to fly Louisiana's elected officials to their posh out-of-state hunting camps. The people doing that are Louisiana's lawyers. Not just the lawyers, though. The lawsuits create some trickle-down economics that benefit billboard companies, TV and radio stations.
I mean, look, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the advertising dollars that is being spent by these, these guys.
Right. You don't have to look far, he says, to find countless ads bragging about billion-dollar awards for their clients. He talks about Nebula Beard and Arsenault, boast they're responsible for taking $10 billion from insurance companies. Laborde Earls, $1 billion. Gordon McKernan, $3 billion. Morris Bart, over $1 billion. Morgan & Morgan, with an office in New Orleans, boasted at $125 billion for people like you. So since he was elected commissioner, Temple, he said, has been begging for a special session, which never happened.
Right.
Thanks to a recent poll from Bernie Pincinat, we may have finally arrived at a perfect storm moment. Now is the best time to finally do something about our high insurance rates because it has everyone's attention. As previously mentioned, the lawyers and their downstream support are making gobs of money. This group is increasingly concerned about its gravy train. When posh parties didn't work, the attack ads soon followed online, in the mail, and even through text messages. If they won't respond to the carrot, he says, we'll give them the stick. So enter a political nonprofit, Enough is Enough. He said, we know little about this organization except that well-known political operative Mary Patricia Ray set it up in 2023. Their latest annual report, filed February 10th, listed Lee Mallett as president, director, and secretary, and Todd Hollenshed as treasurer. He says we'll look more at that in just a moment. I'll tell you what, I got to take a break right here. I want to come back and get back to this because I want to go into more what this organization, Enough is Enough Louisiana, is all about. So we'll come back right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Dentures. You can't live with them, and you definitely can't live without them. But what if we told you there's a better way? Today's Dental in Pineville is here to revolutionize your smile. Say goodbye to old-fashioned adhesives and endless appointments. They've made getting implants incredibly simple, low anxiety, and affordable for everyone. Picture this. In-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled, certified nurse anesthetist, making the procedure low anxiety and stress-free. And the best part? Their multiple finance options make implants truly affordable. Don't wait. If you're ready to replace those old-timey dentures with permanent implants, call Today's Dental on Highway 28 East in Pineville at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility owned by Dr. Jonas Gauthier. That's 448-4540. Your perfect smile is just a call away. Today's Dental, because you deserve the best.
When buying a home or property, you have a choice for your real estate closing attorney. Vine Legal Services, LLC is a full-service title company offering residential and commercial real estate closings, title insurance, and more. Call your Alexandria, Louisiana attorneys, George Fine and Jeremy Cedars, at 318-767-2226 to learn more, or visit fine-lawyers.com. Let your realtor and lender know that you choose Fine Legal Services.
Deal deals are happening now. From instant savings on select tools to free battery offers on some of our most popular battery tool sets. You can enjoy great deals and do it all with Steel. Shop online or in store at your local Steel dealer. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs and dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Freedom from drug addiction happens in NA meetings. It is possible to stop using drugs, and they can help. Call Narcotics Anonymous at 1-585-DON'T-USE or visit their website at larna.org for more information.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
All right, we're back with you, Al and Trish. We've been talking about this article by a man named Michael Lunsford in the Hayride, Private Jets, $billion claims and your sky-high insurance rates. So he was talking about this nonprofit, quote-unquote, Enough is Enough Louisiana, set up by political operative who is certainly to the left, Mary Patricia Ray, set up in 2023. And he notes how their latest annual filing reports with the Secretary of State listed, that was done on February 10th, listed Lee Mallett as president, director, and secretary, Todd Hollenshed as treasurer, and he said we'll look more at this in a moment. Now, the organization's mailing address is 501 Louisiana Avenue in Baton Rouge, a building with a gated parking lot. The signs outside suggest the office contains a sea of lawyers. Considering the organization's apparent goal is to discredit insurance companies and reform-minded lawmakers, No surprise to find a lot of lawyers hanging out. The organization's official domicile address is 1765 O'Neill Lane, number 490, also in Baton Rouge. Popping that in your GPS will take you to Go Storage, a self-storage facility. So are we really expected to believe that a political operation placing statewide attack ads is being run out of a self-storage unit, numbered 490? And then the entire board disappeared. See, this is interesting because I was looking at this organization. Someone had sent me a screenshot showing what I just talked about with the officers. And then when I looked it up Monday when we were doing the show, like those names weren't on it anymore. And so he notes that the math on one of those text messages works out to Friday, May 2nd, around 3 p.m., just days before those text messages were sent out. He's talking about the ones that are ripping certain legislators, Alan Seabaugh, Gabe Furman, calling him Goofy Gabe. Right. Just days before those messages were sent out, Director and Treasurer Todd Hollenshed must have been aware of them. He resigned on Tuesday, April 29th. Then on the same day that of the text messages, Lee Mallett and Mary Patricia Ray were removed, and Christina Starnes was added as President, Secretary, Treasurer, and Director. Interestingly, former organization President Lee Mallett was so caught off guard by the text messages, he felt compelled to apologize to lawmakers over his association with the group. He sent out a resignation letter acquired by Citizens for New Louisiana, which reads in part, this resignation comes in direct response to the recent materials distributed by the organization targeting certain Louisiana senators. I had no knowledge of, input in, or authorization over this activity. I was not consulted in advance and was unaware of the communication until it was released. The use of my name and affiliation without consent has now caused significant confusion among members of the legislature and has impacted my relationship within the state. All right. So then Lunsford talks about Facebook. He said, so if the entire board resigned, who's responsible? Some of those resignations were likely attempts to shield participants. After all, if you look up enough Louisiana on the Secretary of State's website today, all you see is Christina Starnes, and that's right. Certainly, Lee Mallett appears to have known nothing about any of this. If he was trying to shield himself from public knowledge of his involvement, sending letters to every lawmaker would seem to be an odd way to do it. However, the screenshots of the organization's Facebook page strongly indicate who thinks they're benefiting from this. The likes we were able to track down included Digger Earls, partner of the same Laborde Earls law firm that's bragged about recovering $1 billion. Another was Katie Clifford, the, quote, business development director for Arkansas Trial Lawyers Association. Finally, Jones & Hill, a personal injury law firm, was among the likes. They didn't make our earlier lists, but according to their website, the firm has secured multiple verdicts or settlements exceeding $10 million in over 20 cases with outcomes surpassing $1 million. So he concludes this article by saying the legislative regular session has become, in effect, a special session for insurance reform, if we can call it that. By my measure, it appears that some of our best lawmakers have honed in on the root cause of Louisiana's high insurance rates. They're finally doing something about it, and it's making the real profit barons very nervous. You don't even need to take my word for it. I've shown you that the money flowing into this battle is one-sided. All you need to do is remember who's flying lawmakers to swanky hunting camps in their private jets. It's not the insurance industry's supposed profit barons, it's the lawyers. Everything else is noise. The only question now is whether enough lawmakers can withstand the pressure and stay on the side of the people, because let's face it, champagne, caviar, and big dollar checks are the easier path. Let's hope the majority remembers who they were elected to represent. Whew. Again, that was on The Hayride, written by Michael Lunsford. Private jets, billion-dollar claims, and your sky-high insurance rates. I think
he's got the link in there right at the end, right to that, the article about the Texas turkey hunt.
Yes.
Saying, can that move the needle on the auto insurance in Louisiana? To go back to that.
Yeah, that was another Hayride article that it was a business report.
That was a business report article.
Yeah, that had come out a couple of weeks ago. So, my goodness. All right, let's take a call here. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
Hey, Big Al and Trish, how y'all doing?
Hey, Cornelius.
Look, I wanted to remind everybody we had a big city council meeting yesterday, and KLB and KLAX wasn't there, but Urbancast with Uncle Willie was there. So if you go to Facebook Urbancast, you'll see the whole thing. LSCA Dr. Paul gave a great presentation about what LSA, and I'll be glad when he comes back on the program. The Gator president gave an assessment on her thing and how they won against the city and everything, and that Tiffany Ann Sanders, won, even though Judge Monique Rawls, both of her things failed in whatever appeals court. And also those 4 bills, but it's really 5 now. They're going to co-sponsor a bill with East Baton Rouge Parish, I believe, on blight. So I hope everybody will go to Urban Cast Facebook page and see the whole. It was about 2 hours. But now what I want to bring out, I like Rick and everything, but when Malcolm X, the councilman, he wanted public comment. And then all of a sudden when the public comment went against it, because there's one where they're talking about civil service for the police. Now, the police union is against this, and I'm against it. I'm for seniority. This, I think, will go back into a full system, but they were saying Baton Rouge has it, Kenner has it, Wayne, I believe, has it. So I hope and pray people go and look at that. And I just wish, I don't know, it just seems like, to me, the mayor is trying to get total power. And these utility bills, I don't mind people looking back at mine because he's cut my power off twice. I think he's cut Urban Cast's power off. He cut that attorney's power off. Can't think of that guy's name. But it's just some strange things going on. Now, I don't know those people's history, but that woman was just cut off for 6 cents. But you got a building across from City Hall for 2 or 3 years, the Guaranty Bank building or whatever it is now. For 2 or 3 years, they didn't pay their utility bills. I wonder how many commercial buildings are in the arrears for their utility bills. So I love Rick Ranson. Rick Ranson's known me a long time. But like I said, me and the mayor have some problems. Now, he blamed the breach on Mayor Hall. And I wonder if he had any breaches during his 12-year administration of the city. Now, if he didn't, that's fine. But you've got breaches all over this country where they're ransomware. So a lady asked, can we find out...
Cornelius, thanks for the call today. I got to take this break, so we'll come back right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Have you heard? Quibinos has done it again. Mom eats free this Mother's Day? Seriously? Quibinos Cajun Cafe in Pineville is treating your mom to a free 3-course dinner from a special menu designed for her and the family. Enjoy delicious options like prime sirloin, bourbon salmon, Cajun Alfredo, stuffed catfish, and award-winning desserts. Dine in only from 10:30 till 4. Tables will fill fast, so come early. Mom eats free when accompanied by her family. We'll see you all soon at Quibinos Cajun Cafe in Pineville.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
It's time to start betting on yourself. Louisiana 988 can help if you're dealing with tough emotions caused by gambling habits. You can share as much or as little as you want, and it's completely confidential. It's free, available 24/7, and most people who reach out report feeling better right in the moment. Call or text 988 anytime.
Every moment counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, through it all, Go-To for Lung Cancer is here for you. We are your community. For screening, treatment, and survivorship support, Go-To is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit goto.org.
Your local radio company is Sinlaw Broadcasting. We're all about local.
Established in 1955, the Arc Rapides is a training facility for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, providing the social and work skills that will enable them to become productive citizens. The Arc Rapides also provides home and community-based services to enable individuals to live in the least restrictive environment possible. Support the Arc, spelled A-R-C, at thearcrapides.org.
This has been a public service reminder from Sinlaw Broadcasting.
Do you have a drug problem? Do you want to stop? Well, there are folks who can help. Call Narcotics Anonymous at 1-585-DON'T-USE or visit their website at larna.org for more information. Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
All right, we've got about a minute left. Let's go ahead and jump on another call. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
Yeah, I hope Cornelius doesn't talk himself off the station again. But but what I was calling about is Mr. Luno.
Mm-hmm.
He's apparently a trial lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And you've just put up this information that follows from Moon about those ads.
Right.
Now, why don't you get Mr. Luno to come on and talk about that issue? Does he really care about how much I have to pay for insurance? And you do?
Good question. We did have him on before the start of the session. I'm trying to remember what we talked about that or not. But anyway, all right. Well, thank you for the call. You can hear the music. We are unfortunately out of time, and we have another caller on the line. Sorry we can't get to you today. But you guys will have plenty of time to talk tomorrow with Nathan and Trish. They'll be here with you. I'll be back on Friday with Sandra. So, yeah, this auto insurance issue is not going away.
No.
And I think, people are fed up. And
Absolutely.
It's not going to play well if the legislature doesn't get something done, if the governor doesn't sign what they get done. If they try to push through this thing with Temple being the scapegoat, essentially, I think it's going to blow up in a lot of ways. So, anyway, have a great Wednesday.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Sinlaw Broadcasting. FM 104.9, AM 970, KSYL, and